Greetings to those who are now joining. Greetings to you, my Aboriginal brothers and sisters who are living on this Southwest Mexium, the South American continent. Islam to you, my noble Moorish brothers and sisters who are Moors like myself. This is Dr. Matthews-Bey on this the Dr. Matthews-Bey Unfiltered. At this time, I come to you with an update of the 10th of February. I think that was the right correspondent of the news update live hosted by Mr. Gordon Mosley. And I want to give an update on that. And the news that he gave that particular day, he brought some news to us to the Corporation of Guyana, and I may say subjects of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, which is a corporation. Mr. Alistair Rockledge, that's the guy's name from ExxonMobil. So I want to update more on that update that he gave. I think there was some investigative journalism done, but it wasn't done in the correct manner. So I ciphered it out a bit. And this is what was said. It's Mr. Rockledge would have said that $30 billion was spent so far. It seems to me that we're having some difficulties. Yes, so let us hope that it hasn't occurred again. So, back to where I left off. So, the reporting was based upon Mr. Rockledge finding as head of the ExxonMobil Exploration Group down here, which comes under ESSO Exploration Extraction Guyana Limited, something like that. Can't really remember, but they come under ESSO Exploration. So Mr. Rockley says that so far, to date, after 3 years, ExxonMobil would have spent 30 billion US dollars. Remember, according to the coverage of News Update, that is what I gathered because that's what came out of his mouth. Then he said, roughly, that he gave the Corporation of Guyana, 1 billion that was added to. As a matter of fact, the senior minister within the office of the president with responsibility of finance, Mr. Ashley Singh, would have said they have collected $1 billion in a natural resources fund for 2022, plus another 250 million US dollars. I presume that the 1 billion would have been for the after sales of the oil, and the 250 million US dollars would have been for royalty, which is the 2%. So we're going to get down to that now. We're going to iron it out because apparently, like some of us, they think we can't count or we don't know to add. Or maybe these brilliant people on this part of the continent that lives in the corporation are definitely domiciled. Okay? He also said that he's committed to the past contract that was given in 2017 or 2016 and that he holds that commitment. He advised the current administration not to alter the contract because there will be consequences, severe consequences, and it wouldn't be good for business because ExxonMobil, who is here in Guyana, has guaranteed the stability. The words that he used, he said, I have guaranteed, ExxonMobil would have guaranteed the stability of the oil exploration market with businesses. So anywhere Exxon goes, they're guaranteed stability so they can invite others to come on board. If there's no positive end of the reason of the contract, well, then there's no stability. So they're threatening you, the subjects of the Corporation of Guyana, through your de facto administration that gave away 40 years of tax-free to ExxonMobil as a contract. So I wanted to know, what contract are they talking about? Are they talking about the revision contract for every 5 years, or are they talking about the 40-year contract monopoly that they signed off to ExxonMobil? So this is what they said. He thinks that we can't count. He says that he's sticking to the agreement of 2% royalty and 50% after sales. Now, who do we depend upon what is royalty or not? ExxonMobil, because we don't have the kind of mechanism to define how much royalty we are expecting. And as a matter of fact, he said only on Friday in that interview that they have recovered another 11 billion that they would have think that they would have lost barrels of oil from the Stabroek block. So that's another 11 billion barrels of oil. We're going to get to them. We're going to get down to that just now. So he said 2% royalty, which I presume it is the $250 million that they gave to the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and the 50% after sales, we haven't got that yet because we still have to wait on them. So what they did, they said that we earned $1 billion in 2022 in after sales money. $1 billion after 3 years after sales. 1 billion US dollars. And the 250 million I'm talking about, that's US dollars too. So we're looking at that. So we're going to come down to Exxon findings now. They said the biggest share of the revenues of Stabroek block is given to the 380,000 barrels per day to date. So they have increased. The biggest share of all the blocks, Stabroek block gives them 380,000 barrels per oil per day. So we're going to look at the finances now. Remember, they gave us 1 billion US dollars according to Ashley Singh. 1 billion US dollars in the Sovereign Wealth Fund. In the Sovereign Wealth Fund. It hasn't come to Guyana's yet, but it's 1 billion. That's what they put there. 1 billion US dollars. Now let's do the calculations. The present price per barrel right now on the stock market, and that's been there for roughly a year and a half. It's $80 per barrel. That's how it's trading. So I did the maths. $80 multiplied by 380,000. Remember, it's $80 per barrel. So just multiply that by 380,000. Simple mathematics. I came up with 30,400,000 US dollars. That's how much they're making per day. Multiply that per month. I gave it 30 days, not 31, 30 days. It comes to 877, it comes to 912 million US dollars per month. 912 million US dollars a month. That's nearly $1 billion. And then you multiply that by 12, which is 1 year. You roughly get, let us cross the figures off. Let us hit 36 billion. $36 billion per year. That's what you're getting. 36 billion US dollars per year. That's what they got by the end of 2022. I didn't know how much to get in 2021, neither in 2020. So we're adding 3 years. So within 3 years, okay? Within 3 years, they would have accumulated 36 billion US dollars. So that's what my accumulation. When you look at $12 billion per year, you multiply that by 3. 36 billion US dollars. That's what Exxon gained from us. And how much money did we get from it? 1 billion US dollars. That's the after sale. And they gave us 200, I think it was 210,000 in 2020. And they gave us another 200 something thousand dollars in 2021 and 2022. 250 million. 220 something million in 2020, 2022, 200 and more than 220 million, and then in 2020, 2020, 2021, 2022, they gave us $250 million. That's royalty. So Exxon would have recovered another 11 billion barrels of oil that they thought that they would have lost or managed. So they recovered it. It's waiting to be extracted. That's one. Number two, they made over 36 billion US dollars in 3 years. And they gave you 1 billion US dollars. That's after sales. Where's the 50% that they're talking about? And they drop 250 million US dollars. They drop 1 billion that they can know they can take a hard time for you to get that money out of the sovereign wealth fund. And they drop another 250 million US dollars. Now I want to know who's the fool or who's the animal with the two long ears and the tail behind him. And these comforts on the social media running around telling you, but PPP is the right government and they're the right people for the right deals. Yes, they are. But you see what the ExxonMobil president is telling you, Mr. Rockledge, that he doesn't think that you should scrap that contract because you're now gaining more. It should remain, the contract should remain based upon the contract that was signed only for the Stabroek block. But the other rest of blocks, that contract should stand. You shouldn't have a new contract. Use this sense now. It's one of the richest oil company in the world, controlled by the US. That company belongs to the US government. Now they come to your country and threaten stability. So you have to pay them for the stability. So out of $36 billion, you could only receive at least $2 billion. I can pay $1 billion in after sales, and the other billion I can chop it up into royalties. Take the go on and go away. And then I'm giving you a bill for $30 billion expenditure. The people don't take back the money, they're ready. I don't know about you. I don't know about you people. I'm not waiting on cultural news to inform me. I'm not waiting on news update to inform me. I'm not waiting on all these people to come and tell me the craziest things that I can ever hear. Do your research because you're being properly sodomized. You talk about the APNU government? Well, hey, this one was. This one is worse because you know why? Out of $36 billion, one oil block alone, Stabroek block, we could only get $1 billion and roughly about a $750 million worth in royalty and $1 billion worth in after sales. That's what we are worth. And then I have to see that you manage it properly. Yes, because stability has to remain whilst we dig out, gouge your eyes out and take everything away from you. So you mustn't complain. There's no complaints. You mustn't raise your hand or raise your head to say anything. We got sheer criminals. Yes. We got criminals. So this is what it says. It says, to date, we cannot ask for more than 2%. That's what Mr. Rockledge says. We can't ask for more than 2% royalty. So Jack Dios said, it will maintain the contract. Out of all the places that burning down around you and catching you off guard, can't catch yourself. You want to know if Guyana is on fire. It's on fire, yes. but in the wrong places because your resources are being taken away from you by the billions. 11 billion barrels of oil has been retrieved from the Stabroek block. That means that is excess that they didn't measured, and we depending on them to tell us that is an extra 11 billion barrels of oil. Have to be very much on the vanguard of it. It's okay. It's okay. According to my friends, them, it's at even Wi-Fi. Why mine? Want to get the news to you correctly. So they have retrieved an extra 11 billion barrels of oil in the same Stabroek block. So heaven knows how much the contract says that they have said they've seen or analyzed, because you have to add another extra 11 billion barrels. Then heaven knows how long the contract was supposed to end in since 2020. I think it's just 2021. There's no pre-agreement. And if they were, well, it was done without our knowledge. All we know is that Exxon has 40 years tax-free holiday. So I don't know when are we going to accumulate to pay them the 30 billion US dollars, that bill. But they gave us a bit. These people extracting our teeth, your teeth, as a matter of fact, out of your mouth without even you approving of it. Then Jack Deal said that he's willing to maintain that contract in the manner in which it is going right now. So what happened? This happened. In 2022, they say that we gain as a country, no, not we, you, the Corporation of Guyana, from the resources of my land, which is America, or people call it Almaraco. It is known as Southwest Mexium, South America, off of my land, and pay you, the domicile regions, who has no authority over my land nor my resources, give you your profits for 2022, 1 billion US dollars. That's what you have gained. That's your after sale. While Exxon would have gained over 36 billion US dollars. Imagine that. This real full-time craziness. And News Update had the audacity to report it. Have this man, Mr. What's his name again? Mr. Rockledge, Mr. Alex Tier Rockledge, sit there to tell us that's all we worth. Out of 36 billion US dollars, we're worth 1 billion US dollars. My resources that comes off of my ancestral land and give to a people that has no ancestral lineage to this land. My resources. Boy, y'all got a great thing coming. Real great thing coming. Because you know why? I am not going to sit down and allow it. The Moorish High Science Temple will not sit down and allow it. This land that you see that you're occupying or you're settling on as a corporation, believe you me, it has a trust. And that trust was created by our prophet, Noble Juwali, for the Moors of Americas, the Moorish High Science Temple, all of them. And that you need to comprehend. This land belongs to us. We will sit by no longer and look at the privileging of our lands, the stealing of our resources, the constant deterioration in the processing of our living environment. Believe you me, I'm going to tell you this now. This disdain, rape, and sodomizing to a people in a corporation of resources that doesn't belongs to them. We can't continue. Just hold a minute for me, please. Yes, we're back. We can't continue with this. We're not profiting from it. It's basically taking away our rights from us. People, examine the news update that I brought to you properly. Do your calculations. A barrel of oil is $80 per barrel on the stock market as present, as a year and a half ago. ExxonMobil has made a $36 billion after sales on our oil, and they're giving you, the corporation, 1 billion, another 250 million. That is complete thievery. You're being raped. Yes, and I use the word sodomize because apparently, like, we're not catching ourselves. You, not me. You're not catching yourselves. Wake up. This is Dr. Matthews-Bey, reporting from Southwest Mexium, the land in which is given to us by a trust by our prophet Noble Juwali, who had that authority from that lineage, so we can benefit and inherit the Americas. I say to you now, rise yourself. Stop slumbering in your sleep. My Aboriginal brothers and sisters, take hold of what is rightfully yours, given to you by your ancestors. This is Dr. Matthews-Bey on the Dr. Matthews-Bey Unfiltered, bringing this news update to you. Stay safe, sanitize yourself, wear a mask. Don't forget the little ones you take into public places. Goodbye. and Cheerios for now.